Alright, greetings everybody, and welcome to Thursday Night Fights. Today we are back in beta version 5.9 because we're going to do a little bit of an advanced PvP team today. You'll see Captain America and Union Jack on screen. These guys are, of course, war buddies. This is a fantastic PvE team that we're going to be using. A lot of people use it to farm the bosses in Chapter 12, but we're going to take advantage of their combat synergy and actually use them in PvP today. As you can imagine from the gear that you are seeing on the screen, we're going to go for a lot of counters, which should create a lot of engagement from Union Jack. Update on a few things over here. As usual, there is no ETA on Beta 6 going public as of yet. The most recently available version of the game that you can download and play today, this minute, is linked down in the description below. That is Beta 5.2. If you have any question at all about why your version looks different than what is on the screen, and why can't you do things that I can do, and what about the heroes, that is because your version is 5.2, which is quite back in time somewhere. The closed betas are, we've had 5.5, 5.6, 5.8, 5.9, and now 6.04. The kind of sort of bad news in a lot of ways is that Goofy has seriously been dealing with his brother's health. There have been a lot of complications in that regard, but the better news coming from that, and the good news coming from that, is that the brother is getting the treatment that he needs despite the severity of his condition. The GoFundMe that has been created on Goofy's behalf to help him help his brother and also take care of things in his life have proven to be extremely helpful. A link will be down there below in the description. Please donate to that if you can. This isn't about helping Goofy create the game or anything like that. It is to help Goofy deal with the rather intense severity of his life that has been going on in the background with his brother's health, and also quite a lot of household items that come with dealing with helping his brother out after the hospital stay several months ago. Another piece of good news is that the internal testers have a updated build to test within the beta 6.xx line. I don't know what the name of the new build is called. The one that I was using at the beginning of the week was 604. This one, I don't know if it has an official name, but it does have several fixes for several fixes for some really nagging items that have caused Beta 6 to not go public as of yet. For example, you know, when you are doing certain spec ops, that there are tasks like use Phoenix's level 1 5 times, use Havoc's Shattering Punch 3 times, use his Plasma Spheres 2 times, you know, things like that. There were some tasks in the later Spec Ops, and by later Spec Ops I still mean within Season 1, where those tasks were not counting anything you did for them. So whether you were using the character as a guest, whether you were using the character because you earned it and you were just using the character in general, those counters were not counting up. So if it was use a certain punch 3 times, you could use it 22 million times and the counter wasn't working. The new build has some fixes for that, so that is really positive to see. That is some good progression there in getting more and more fixes into the Beta 6 line, so that hopefully Beta 6 can go to an open status and get out to you and everybody else that has been clamoring for it. These fixes are rather severe, and they're one of the reasons why the team has not wanted to release it yet, because your progression, for example, in that particular Spec Ops, would come to a grinding halt, and there would be no way around it, and that would be extremely frustrating. They're trying to create a beta build to get to you guys that don't have those frustrations, so that is one of the explanations for the wait. Please continue to be patient. There is no ETA as of yet. Let's go ahead and get into today's PvP matches. Now, I haven't tried this team yet in PvP, but I know how they're going to act on paper. We have the Neurotrope, the Cosmic Cardinal, the Radian Cannon, and the Coulson's Revenge. All of these weapons create extra attacks. Cap is going to be tanking, and you know he counters with his Shield Bash when he takes a hit, and that also can engage Union Jack, so this should hopefully be a lot of fun. After this first match, I will show you everybody's ISOs, so you can see how I have them kitted out. So we have a Scrapper Agent, we have Tactician Emma, and we have Mockingbird. Again, a little bit of a weird group to see Emma and Mockingbird. I personally don't think these guys go together, even if they're both quite formidable. I don't feel they have a lot of synergy, to be honest, but it's still a team to absolutely be respected because Psychic Tap does a lot of damage. I'm going to go ahead and use the Radian Cannon, and I don't want to use it on Mockingbird because I don't want to make her an infiltrator, so I think I will go for the enemy agent. So you'll notice the game will be a little bit chunky as I'm recording in my alternate recording location in the house. This isn't my primary PC, so things will be a little bit slower. Emma's Organic Diamond is, oh my god, holy shit. That was an insane amount of counters. Now, Union Jack was a little flat on that one. He only engaged one time, but the agent was doing a ton of work on that. The Radiant Cannon was really adding a lot of extra damage over there. It is unfortunate that Emma Frost was the one tanking a lot of it because her diamond body kicked in. So let's get Shield Guard going on Cap. You'll notice scrolling combat buffs and debuffs in this is really, really fast. That was a bug in 5.9. Really, really good high FPS displays made the game display everything really, really fast. It's a Unity thing where Unity can perform better under really, really good displays, and sometimes that massive high speed damage and buffs going out kind of lagged the game and crashed it out for certain people. So that's why it's a little bit slower in 6.04. The team is continuing to tweak it because at times it got a little bit too slow, but in 5.9 it was too fast. So I'm going to go ahead and punch the agent because he's a scrapper, and Cap is in his bruiser mode. Massive damage coming out of the Radiant Cannon and from my agent on this one. So my agent is doing what I was hoping Union Jack would be doing. We have melee from Mockingbird, which means I might want to use Trench Warfare, but we have a lot of range from Emma, which means maybe I want to use Service Revolver. As of right now, he has Capital Defense active, so okay, that's a no-brainer. Let's go with Trench Warfare. So now Union Jack is ready to be anti-ranged, and he's ready to be anti-melee. The extra turn, yes, that is unusual. He's not supposed to have it. It is a bug with the Cosmic Cardinal. The Cosmic Cardinal seems to be granting teammates extra turns out of nowhere. To be honest, I hope it's a bug nobody ever fixes, because I love it. Emma Frost Diamond Body is no longer holding. Union Jack gets a pre-attack. Holy hell, this is turning into the agent show. I apologize for all the Union Jack fans out there, of which I am very much one of them. I love what Union Jack does. He's great with Rocket Raccoon and Spider-Man Noir and Hogun, and even to a degree like Star-Lord, and anybody who's got a lot of counters and follow-ups like Iron Fist or the Raft Shank. His style of gameplay really gets me, as does a lot of Bleeder-related gameplay like the Devourer and everything. He's coming up a little bit flat, but my agent's doing a bang-up job. Okay, so how did I ISO everybody for this one? Cap is looking like this. Yes, his accuracy is trash. I should do something about that. But his main stats for what we want are all 5 bars. He has great attacks, great attack power because he is countering, and you want him to do damage on the counters, and of course because he's tanking, he's very hardy with high health and defense and also really good stamina. His attack is 5 bars, but it is a little bit weak. For Union Jack has a proper kit going on. And by proper kit, I generally am referencing what is known as the PKB method, which is where you go for health, attack, and accuracy, and one of the 2 defensive stats, whether it's defense or evasion. Of course, the PKB method was written at a time in which stamina was not used in PvP, so it does have some shortcomings. You cannot really take the old PKB method as gospel anymore. So there's Union Jack stats, maxed out health, stamina, attack, defense, and accuracy, and we've largely left evasion alone. You want Union Jack to definitely have a lot of attack and accuracy. You want him to crit, you want him to actually be able to hit, that's his accuracy, and because he adds so many attacks, you want accuracy. In this case, I don't really care about his defense and health too much because Cap is tanking for him. But if you're using him in Chapter 12, then you need him to survive, so you may as well just kit him out properly. Alright, so we're an easy 1-0. Let's get back into it and do the second fight. We have Wolverine with his bugged feral regeneration. That could be really tough. We have a blaster agent with the experiment, and we have a tanking Cap, who is a tactician. So it kind of benefits me. It's why I went blaster, so that my agent can help kill I went tactician so that I could help kill blasters that might try and wreck Cap because he's a bruiser. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. While I fear Wolverine's regeneration on this team, and I have fought this team a lot, but it's been a while, I need to get rid of that blaster to make life easier for Cap. So now is the time in which I try to save Captain America. The agent's name is Agent Enzo. Bada boom, illest guy in the room. How you doing? If you know that reference that I just said, please go ahead and put it down below. I would really appreciate knowing if anybody caught the reference that I just did there. Captain America just shit all over Wolverine's head. That was ridiculously easy to end one of the biggest threats over here. I'm going to walk around the enemy agent because I don't want to activate his blaster benefit. So I'll just, we'll just do America's ass. We'll have Cap on Cap over here. Again, the agent is adding a lot of damage from his gear, which is good. He's supposed to. However, we're not pulling Union Jack into things over here. I think I want to go anti-melee. I don't know what the agent is going to pull out, but we know Cap is going to be full melee. So, let's do it. Union Jack gets an extra turn, so let's activate both of them. There goes his free counter. Yeah, that's a big hit from the girl's best friend. But my agent, once again, is defending Cap. That's crazy. The agent is actually defending one of the Avengers. And my god, he's mopping up. This is insane. This is one of the few episodes where I can really say it's the agent show. And that's surprising, because that is not my intent. I was kind of hoping it would be the Union Jack show. 2-0. Pretty easy. Now, you can change things up a little bit. If you wanted your agent tanking, you could run something like the Knight and the Bishop instead of the Coulsons and the Radian Cannon. I really think you should run the Cosmic Cardinal if you're trying to get Union Jack engaged. You can also do some other derivatives where you have a bleed team, and if you're running the Devourer, you can use like Black Knight and Wolverine and the Devourer to get Union Jack involved in follow-up attacks by the follow-up attacks on bleeders. So that's the thing, but for this video I wanted to stick with kind of more of a conventional standard counters and everything rather than leading into a bleed team. Again, I think I'll go for the enemy agent. Our first psychic tap, and Cap is next. However, Cap can just go ahead, use Shield Guard, and pass his turn, and he's still going to be very useful. This is not bad at all. It would have been worse if she had tapped Union Jack. That little shadow that happens there when Cap does his abilities, I love it. It is a visual bug, and I think it's actually fixed in version 6.04, but I love it. It gives it a very anime look to it, sort of like a Bleach flash step to a certain degree. Yeah, I love the bug. I would hope that it stays. Not that Cap is ever known for moving so fast that he would be blurry or sort of leaving shadows of himself, but I gotta admit, I like it. It's a bug that I absolutely love. Mockingbird paid the penalty for trying to piss off the gods. So she's dead. We have anti-melee going on right now with Union Jack. I should have gone with anti-ranged. Oh my god. It's the Radian Cannon show. That's what it is. That's what almost every match has been about. This entire episode has been the Radian okay. Well, there's Union Jack showing up and getting a big kill, but yeah, it's the Radian Cannon show. You've heard of the Ren and Stimpy show. It's the Radian Cannon show. Alright, let's do 2 more pretty quickly, and then we'll be done. This has been a really, really fun episode. This team right here is going to give a lot of people PTSD. Back when class-restricted EISOs were coming out from winning PvP seasons, there was a infamous infiltrator one called the Covert EISO, which meant that a infiltrator would do their counterattack before the attacker landed their attack. So what would happen is people would get Infiltrator Emma Frost. She would be level 15, so she would engage her Infiltrator reflexes just by doing the little recharge thing at 15. And anybody who went to attack her, she pre-fired the Psychic Tap. Why that was so bad is that means she would pre-fire the Psychic Attack as the Psychic Tap as the attack was landing, and the moment the attack landed, the Psychic Tap went off for huge damage. It was not a bug, it was absolutely intended, but Playdom realized it was ridiculously overpowered, and when paired with Phoenix 5 Colossus, who provided, you know, some healing and the tanking and everything like that, it was an extremely rough team. Especially if Colossus was running the Escutcheon, which was the elite ISO, which meant he drained when you hit him with melee attacks. So you had a nearly invincible Colossus, you had Emma doing tons of unavoidable damage. It was pretty crazy. Fortunately for us, there are no ISOs in this version in terms of the ISOs, So we don't have to fear something like that. But when Season 2 comes out, you might find that those teams are in PvP. Now, this code base for Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux was the 2016 code base. It's taken from when the game died in September. So all of the nerfs that happen to teams like that are already coded in. So you will never have to deal with that massive power spike of like Pesty when he first dropped and his Nano Plague. The Phoenix Pinion is bugged. Yeah, that team has a bugged weapon, so we're gonna have to launch the game all over again here. Not a problem. But yeah, so this will give us an extra moment here to talk about this stuff. So there was a time period where Pesty could land Nano Plague on his level 1 at 100%. You won't see that. You won't see the ridiculously overpowered covert ISO sitting on an Infiltrator Emma Frost. Molly Hayes, unfortunately, will be nerfed. The team has considered scaling back some of the nerfs that happened to Iron Fist because he was truly nerfed into oblivion, and it affected his PvE performance too. The team has stated, for the most part, other than Adam Warlock and White Tiger, they don't plan to nerf anybody, so you won't see Worthy nerfs, you won't see Cloak and Dagger nerfs, or Faiza, or Ronin. However, you will not see things like the Triple Blaster blow up, because Playdom nerfed it before the game died. You won't see the crazy Molly period with Invisible Woman and Air Pressure because of the stamina nerf. You won't see the crazy Raph Shank or the crazy Heroic Age Iron Fist and everything. So you'll see, basically you'll be dealing with how the game acted in August and September of 2016. Alright, let's just do one more fight, since this video's taken a little bit of a long time here to get going. With that crash, it's going to make it a little bit longer. Okay, well, it's this team again. It's Agent Roland Deshane of the Tower. And God, I hope you know that reference too. I would really, really love if somebody got the Enzo reference and Child Roland to Tower came. If you know those references, we can be friends. Alright, good initial shot on the enemy agent, and Mockingbird recharged. If you guys have been following the series for quite some time, you've probably seen a lot of episodes where there's been a lot of recharging. It has mostly stopped in the last few months, but because this is the older build, this is 5.9, you are going to see, holy shit, that was a lot of damage. Stop it, he's already dead. You're gonna see some recharges happen in this PvP. If I convert Mockingbird to a blaster, that would be a very tactical decision because my agent is a tactician and he can abuse that. So I think I will abuse Mockingbird's class switching over here. It's going to give her an extra turn. And it was painful to Cap, and Cap got stunned, but my agent can have some fun with this. Migraine isn't that bad. We'll take a migraine over a psychic tap. Oh my god. What on earth? Excuse me? No, we're not counting that as a loss. We're not saying the trend is continuing where I get one loss per episode lately. That was massively bugged. I have no idea what that was, but there's no way Emma's gonna wipe a team with her level 9 like that. There is no reality where she's gonna do that. That was a massive bug. You could see the damage going out was only in double digits, but Yeah, we're gonna get some revenge for that. That is not counting as a loss. And no, this is not being a 6-year-old with an Atari and saying, no, that doesn't count. The computer cheated. You know that's a bug. You know the game. You know Emma's not going to do that. And Cap is pissed. Alright, so we basically got a repeat of the first fight of the episode over here. Everybody apparently is very mad at Emma for what she did in the last battle. And, I could get the bruiser benefit off of the agent, but I could get rid of Emma so she doesn't do that again. I'm gonna target focus the agent. Perfect. Smart decision. Are we gonna have one of the... Alright, massive overkill. Let's go anti-range. And, okay, so we're gonna go anti-melee too. Right in front of Mockingbird, which is great. Let's see if Union Jack gets a nice pre-counter here. He does. It's huge! At 6.1k. It's the Radian Cannon Show. Okay, folks. The episode is now officially complete after we avenged that stupid bug. I'm not counting it as a loss. I think that is extremely fair to say that. Don't get mad at me for it. But yeah, Neurotrope, which gives everybody combat expertise. Cosmic Cardinal, which adds attacks. Radian Cannon, which adds attacks. And so does the Coulson's Revenge. So, you know, all in all, this is a very well-built team. If you don't wind up getting this gear early, you can use just any counter follow-up kind of weapon. You could have your agent tank and then use counter weapons like the Bishop to engage Union Jack. You can run bleeder teams and have things like the Cat's Claws and the Saber-Tooth Claws, and the Devourer is really good for stuff like that. But yeah, this team's a lot of fun. It's also really, really great in PvE, especially Chapter 12, as all of you long-term players certainly know. So, alright, this is, I think, officially episode 52. So I think this is the 1 year mark. I need to check. I know we were at 50 recently. I don't remember if this is 51 or 52. But if this is 52, then we've officially been doing these Thursday night fights for a solid year. And if this is episode 52, then I'm taking a break. I think I will take a break next week, and we'll come back and see what PvP is like in the new build that I just got from Goofy this week. So everybody have a good weekend. I will be streaming on Twitch tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, so go ahead and check me out there. We're going through the Havoc Spec Ops, and we will be fighting our way through Chapter 12 over in Season 1. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have yourselves a good weekend, and I hope to see you on Twitch tomorrow.